And you may be seated.
How old are you, Miss Aline?
23.
Do you work?
Yes.
What kind of work do you do?
I'm a cashier.
Where?
At Lowe's.
How long have you been working?
Couple of days, 4 or 5 days.
Prior to that, what were you doing?
I was unemployed up till then.
For how long had you not been employed?
For about 6, 7 months.
Prior to that, what were you doing?
I was a counselor at Amethyst in Columbus. It's a place for women and children who their parents are on drugs. So we were counseling the children, basically.
And how long did you work there?
About 3 months.
Prior to that, where did you work?
I worked at school. I was my professor's assistant.
Do you have a college degree?
Yes.
From where?
Ohio State University.
When did you graduate?
December 2008.
And since then, you've been unable to find a full-time job?
Yes.
Mr. Mills is your former boyfriend, and you have a child together.
Yes.
It is your claim and your belief that he owes you some money for medical bills, yours and your child's, as well as a phone bill and moving expenses. Mr. Mills says he doesn't owe you any money. When you were together, for the brief time you were together, he gave you money. And if you spent that money on something else, that's not his problem. When did you and Mr. Mills meet?
We met in March 2009.
Where?
It was at a party.
And when did you find out you were pregnant?
Late June.
Had you and Mr. Mills discussed having a family?
We hadn't discussed it, but when I told him that I was pregnant, he didn't have a problem with it.
And you weren't living together at the time you became pregnant?
No.
So far, is all of that correct?
Yeah, that's all correct so far.
So now you can tell me what you think Mr. Mills owes you money for.
Well, a little bit before we got pregnant, he was having problems with his phone, and I had my phone in my name, so I told him I could add him to my line. And at that time, I was working, and I said, you have to make sure you keep it with your half of the bill. He said that was fine, that wasn't a problem.
So you added him to your phone?
Right.
Did he ask you to add him to your phone?
We never discussed any payment arrangements at all.
Well, you didn't expect somebody to pay your phone bill, did you? Look at me. You didn't expect somebody else to pay your phone bill. You're a big guy, right?
That wasn't my expectations.
Good. So you expected to pay your own portion of the phone bill. Well, at some point, you would get a phone bill with the amount of his phone bill on it. How did you deal with that?
I just told him what his half was, and he paid it.
Until when?
Until about August. After he found out I was pregnant, he wanted to move back to Youngstown, where he's from. We talked about me going back there with them so we could start a family, and I told him I didn't want to live in Ohio. That wasn't my plan. Like, after Columbus, I wanted to move out of Ohio. So he said he'd be there the max of 6 months. So I was like, that's okay, I'm pregnant, might as well. So we moved back, and we agreed, because I wouldn't be working when I got there. He already had a job lined up that he would pay the bill.
He would pay what bill?
The phone bill.
Your phone bill?
Yes.
Why would he pay your phone bill?
Because I was pregnant, and I moved there to be with him.
When did you move to Ohio?
I moved to Youngstown in August.
And how pregnant were you?
I was about 4 months at the time.
Why can't you work?
Because I could hardly find a job in Columbus, and Youngstown is even a smaller city than Columbus was.
Did you try?
Yes, I did try.
Where did you try?
I went on Craigslist. I had my resume on Monster and Career Builder. I did try.
How did you find the job as a cashier in Lowe's?
I applied at the company Lowe's.
Right. So you went to Youngstown with him. You moved in with him. He paid the rent.
There wasn't rent to pay, because we stayed with his parents because he had the job lined up.
So you got to Youngstown and stayed with his family?
Yes.
For the entire time that you were there?
Yes.